Welcome to the event. We're really happy that you're here. We're about to go live in just a few moments, but before we lift off, there's a few important things we want to make sure that you're aware of so you get the best possible experience out of this. First of all, the sound current is supremely important to us, the musical experience. So if possible, we really encourage you to use good speakers or headphones to experience the class with. Second, if you have any pre-existing injuries, please take care of yourself, modify as you need to. Don't risk exacerbating an injury because of a yoga exercise. If you have any pre-existing medical conditions and you're not quite sure if this would be good for you, please consult with your primary healthcare practitioner and make sure it's the right thing for you. Also, make yourself relatively comfortable. You can use a cushion, and in fact, we encourage you in our seated positions, meditation practices, to use a cushion. It helps lift the heart up, keep the spine straight, and it's more ideal for the flow of energy in the body and for the meditation experience. You can even be sitting in a chair with feet flat on the floor for those of you that are unable to sit in a meditative sitting posture on the floor. Just use a chair, and for many of the exercises, that will work perfectly fine. And then lastly, if you're having any problems with the video streaming, try refreshing the page, or if you see a gear icon on the video, adjust your resolution. If you're new to this type of thing, just take care of yourself. If there's something that you don't quite understand, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Everything that needs to click will click after a few times of trying it out. Enjoy the experience. We're about to get started in just a moment.
Greetings, my friends. So happy you're here. So excited to be doing this with you. It's a great way, in my opinion, of spending some time. Bodhicitta, the great joyful love force, the great joyful wisdom force, the great joyful compassion force, the great joyful intelligence force. So that's why sometimes saying compassion is not really quite enough, because I think a lot of us, when we hear compassion, unless we have training in some sort of dharma or tradition that gives it a greater context, we don't have the context in English semantics that bring forth what is connotated in the word bodhicitta, the great wisdom heart, the great love heart. And this is in this session that we're getting to do today, we're going to go into it. And first we're going to do a couple little exercises to get the prana flowing in our body, to make our mind nice and kind of open and sparkly. Because something like bodhicitta is hard to understand if we stay up on the surface, but it's so profound and so wonderful and so easy to understand when you drop down a little below. So if we can center the prana like the yogis do in the center channel, which we'll do a little bit, even if you're not even sure what that means, it makes the mind nice and bright and relaxed, and it centers centers and grounds your nervous system. It takes away the overwhelm or the anxiousness, and it lifts up some depressions. And so this is a great way of spending time. I'm happy to be here with you in Life Force Academy. This is in our home domain in Northern California. And just around the corner on the summer solstice, we're going to be not too far away from here on the mountains of Northern California. And we're going to be spending 5 days, 4.5 days in this universe of the bodhicitta, and that's where we can really cultivate it and really open up the bliss inside of ourselves. It is a path of bliss. It is a path of magnetism. Developing bodhicitta brings prosperity into one's life. Absolutely. However, the essence of bodhicitta is not what you're bringing into your life. The essence of bodhicitta is turning our hearts towards the others in our life. So in this session, we're going to go into the 4 immeasurables, or also sometimes called the 4 boundless attitudes, and the 3 rings of the others in our lives. And you move those immeasurables, this force of love, force of wisdom, through the 3 rings of others, and that becomes the path. That becomes the path of opening. That becomes the path of wisdom. That becomes the great path of love. In essence, it's expanding your capacity to experience love from well beyond the ordinary into things that we don't quite have even words for. It's why we need poetry and Dharma teaching and so forth and so on. So when we say compassion, I think a lot of people think more empathy in their minds. And compassion is not empathy. Compassion, of course, includes empathy, but compassion, when we're talking in the context of bodhicitta, is so much more. Compassion is not one of the many virtues of the practitioner, of the yogi, of the Dharma person. Compassion in this context is the central jewel. Without it, nothing else really works. So from the great Buddhist sage, Shakbar, with compassion, the root of Dharma, reality, truth, your true path, the great field of wisdom, Dharma. With compassion, the root of Dharma is planted. Without compassion, the root of Dharma is rotten. One with compassion is kind even when angry. One without compassion will kill even when they smile. For one with compassion, even their enemies will turn into friends. Without compassion, even their friends will turn into enemies. With compassion, one has all dharmas. Without compassion, one has no dharma at all. Compassion is the very essence of all dharma. Dharma is your path. But Dharma is so much more than that. Dharma is the field of love, is the field of reality, is the field of truth and love and wisdom. Great compassion is like a wish-fulfilling gem. Great compassion will fulfill the hopes of oneself and others. Therefore, all of you, practitioners and lay people, he says, cultivate compassion and you will achieve supreme bliss. May all persons who hear this song with great compassion benefit all beings. So this is really wonderful, beautiful stuff, and this is why we're really taking this time to bring it forth in our life. This is a moment. All moments are like this, and this one, though, especially. This is a moment to spend time in our lives cultivating such things. A lot of time we're spending in our life is increasing our unsettledness, is increasing our anxiousness. Some of these things even necessary. We want to stay in tune with what's going on in the world. We want to stay in tune with the relationships that we have to take care of and doing our best. But if you can cultivate this type of thing from the inside, it overflows into all of those things. And at the same time, again, it helps to take away the anxiousness, helps to take away the unsettledness and center one's energy by opening the mind into its field of wisdom and creativity. And opening the mind is not just here, it's the whole thing, it's the heart field. So that's what we're going to do in this session, and then especially in the Life Force Academy Summer Immersion, which you are invited to most definitely. we're going to go into the great joyful love force of bodhicitta and start to bring it alive, not only in our minds, but also in our bodies, because that's where the bliss comes. And even in this one session today, I think you'll have a nice taste of it. And then if you want to continue on, then from anywhere in the world you can join for the bodhicitta experience over the summer solstice, where the energy of the whole year is at its solar peak. So always on the winter and summer solstice, we do a special immersion with a special teaching, and this is this summer immersion. The time couldn't be more ripe for it. The time couldn't be more perfect during the solstice. And so then we'll take the deeper dive there. So we're going to do a few exercises to open the and circulate the prana, to center, to bring the mind into its more kind of subtle creativity, intuition space a little bit. And then we're going to go into the four immeasurables and move them through the three rings of others and see how that becomes a practical kind of lifestyle, inner lifestyle, not outer lifestyle, but inner way that we relate to our outer world in a way that helps us to stay in alignment, stay in attunement, and not become overwhelmed by the challenges and the obstacles in our life. In fact, when you take on this tantric view, then the obstacles in your life also, which there will always be many, the obstacles act as not just some obstacle that you need to get through and that maybe you can get through, but the obstacles become the thing that actually propel you along your path. So just like the yogi is using the thing that normally ages us, gravity, in an ordinary circumstance, sitting like this, and that as we grow older, the skin is wrinkling more and more, and that's natural, of course. But we can also slow that down by creating a more elegant relationship with gravity. And in the Kriya practices, of which we're going to do a little bit here, and then an extraordinary meditation at the very end. The Kriya practices take that force of gravity and then combine it with the gravitational pull, with the prana and the breath and the human magnetism, and the mudras and the asanas, the different postures and seals of the hands that then take what ordinarily ages us and use it as a force to actually go into greater youthfulness and into greater. Doesn't mean you're going to always just get younger and younger, although there are cases of extraordinary yogis who have done such and lived for long periods of time. This is well known. It's well documented in India in particular, and also other parts of the world. So, but what we're talking about is something more subtle. We're talking about, as we're getting older, we're becoming happier. We're becoming even more childlike. We're having more fun. In a lot of ways, even though the body is aging some, we are getting younger, for sure, in spirit, in disposition, in happiness, in innocence, in our sense of wonder. Keeps us alive. So, this is our path today. So first, a couple of exercises. So what I would recommend is you come sitting up like we are. And sitting up maybe on a little cushion. Get your sit bones up. And if you're on a chair, no problem. Feet flat on the floor. Okay? Feet totally flat on the floor. And as much as possible, sit bones connected, heart lifted, and come like this. Fingers in front, thumbs in back, inhaling left, exhaling right. Continue inhaling left, exhaling right. Now close your eyes and just bring your mind to the rhythm and the feel and the sound of your breathing. And as your mind goes wandering elsewhere, which it always tends to do, just, oh my mind, follow my breath, follow the breath rhythm. But it's not just the breath as in respiration, it's the breath as the carrier of your life force. When the breath goes, also you go. So meditate on the breath, feel the breath, pleasure yourself with the breath, breathe like you're pleasuring the body. Opening the channels. Another 30 seconds, nice rhythm, let it swing. Inhale, center. Suspend the breath. Heart lifted, shoulders down, chin in. Exhale. Hands to our knees, opening the center channel. So inhaling up, exhale, releasing light. Soft bounce. Inhaling up, just let it release on the exhale. Listen and feel your breathing. Keep going. A little stronger now with the breath. Eyes closed down. Listen. Go on. Start to turn your senses into your inner world. Inhale, squeeze up. Exhale, release. Beautiful. Hands are in the wisdom seal. That's the index finger to your thumb, hands like so. Sit bones are connected, heart is lifted, chin is in, one vertical relationship to gravity through your nose. Inhale. Then with the rhythm like this, go. Keep the rhythm. And make sure your inhale and exhale are equalized. It sounds like a nice shaker. It's light and it's easy. It'll get stronger perhaps as you continue and as it naturally opens and deepens. But don't be aggressive with it. Make it rhythmic and light. Make sure your strength of your inhale and exhale are equalized. And pulse it from below your belly button, abdomen below the belly button, which is the point of your navel. The nabi, the power point of the organism, the lower dantian, as they say in the Chinese tradition, the hara in the Japanese tradition, but they all agree that below your belly button, couple inches, is the point of the pranic power. So, for another 30 seconds, pulse your navel with the breath. Now keep going, but draw your inner gaze softly up and in where the root of the nose meets your skull bone. That general space, like to ground your mind and nervous system's electricity by softening the optic gaze there. And oh my mind, follow the rhythm. Inhale deep. Soften the chest, soften the mind. Mula Bandha, pelvic floor, rectum, sex organ, navel. Exhale. Okay, just one more round of this. So, through your nose, take an inhale. Take an exhale. The more we go, the easier it'll get. The more the prana is concentrating, the more the channel will open. So just patience and ease and enjoy. It becomes very pleasurable if you be with it. Inhale. And then third eye gaze. Pulse your navel. Inhale very deep. Suspend your breath. Soften the chest. Keep the breath in. Soften the mind. Eyes closed. Soften the gaze upward. Lift up through a little bit your pelvic floor. And 0. Exhale. Bravo. It's called centering the prana, neutralizing the psyche. Neutralization of the psyche is the most beautiful thing because it brings you into the depth of your meditative mind, and that's where you get all the insights for your life, for your path forward, to how do you sparkle your relationships, and how do you heal, and all of this kind of comes to you little by little. You can't look for it, because if you look for it, you're no longer in the meditative mind. The meditative mind is down way below the surface. It's not where your ideas and thoughts are, but inspirations can emerge from there and then become ideas. If you're looking for it, it tends to elude us. If you go into the actual rhythm of the meditation, if you go into the focal point of the meditation and be present with body and mind, use it to tune your instrument, then it's quite very likely that you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. With time, with practice. One session, get a little taste. Go on an immersion, swim in the waters. Okay? Next one, your hands are out, like so. This is a little difficult, but we can all do it. And if you have some injury, never exacerbate an injury. Otherwise, if you have an injury, you can't do this, do the last posture that we were just doing. Fingers are firm. Chest is soft. Chin is in. Okay? Inhale, same breath. Make sure your palms facing the sky, ceiling. Soft chest, tucked in chin. And then soften your inner gaze up and in once again. Best as you can. These are ways of grounding the energy and concentrating your beam. And ordinarily your mind is in every which way, all of ours. Naturally so. We have so many things to take care of. But if we don't take care of ourselves, then none of these things can be well taken care of. So taking care of ourselves here is concentrating the beam and bringing up the inner vitality of mind and body, of opening the love force, the wisdom force, the bliss force. So in our own bodies, our own instruments, we can feel the love, we can feel the creation, we feel attuned to what our life is all about. Another little bit to go with the rhythm. The weight of the gravity against your horizontal hands, arms, parallel to the ground, is what will change the magnetic field. So keep the fingers firm and the chest lifted and soft, shoulders down away from our ears, sit bones into the earth, chin in. To traverse the path, use the anchor of your breath rhythm, carrier of the prana shakti. Pulse the navel, go. 25 seconds to go. Inhale through your nose very deeply. Fingers and palms tight, firm like steel, tight. Squeeze your spine, lift your pelvic floor. Through your nose, hold the posture, exhale. Inhale. Fingers firm. Squeeze your spine, lift the mulaband, rectum, sex organ, navel. Fingers tight like steel, energy all in your arms and hands. Hold the posture, through your nose, exhale. And final time, inhale. Squeeze the fingers, lift the mulaband, squeeze your spine. Slowly relax. Close your eyes. For a moment, just feel. And then the final part, the last exercise here, just for 90 seconds, you bring your palms together in this pranam mudra, where your knuckles into your sternum, taking left and right, negative and positive, pressing them at the heart center. Inhale through your nose, and one last time. Third eye gaze. To the field of endless possibilities, the infinity field. Pulse the navel. Press the hands with a certain firmness. Lift your chest. Now inhale through your nose. Press your palms firmly, maximum pressure. Lift the rectal sphincter, sex organ, navel point up and in. Press the palms through your nose, exhale. 2 more, inhale. Please press the palms, lift the anal sphincter, urogenital sphincter, navel up and in. Squeeze your spine. Press the palms with full force so it shakes them. Press. Exhale. Relax before opening the eyes or moving on. Take a moment. Feel. Just kind of shake them. Shaking them like to, sure, shake off some residues of stress, but mostly distribute the kind of chi into the body. and relax. So the four measurables are such. The four measurables are boundless love, which is defined very clearly as the wish for happiness and the conditions for real happiness. Again, these are known as the four measurables as well as the four boundless attitudes. The second is boundless compassion, and that's the wish to be free of suffering and the conditions to be free of suffering, to truly be free of suffering. The third is boundless joy or immeasurable joy, or sometimes that gets translated as sympathetic joy, because that's the essence of this, or at least part of the essence of this, is that when others become happy, I also become happy because of it. When others are experiencing happiness, then I am lifted up by that experience as well. So already we're expanding our capacity for happiness, which is bringing joy. Sympathetic joy or immeasurable joy, boundless joy, is to delight in the creativity of life, is to delight in the intelligence of life, is to delight in the wisdom of life, in all domains of life. And the fourth immeasurable is boundless equanimity or impartiality, immeasurable equanimity. They're called immeasurables because they expand beyond ordinary domains. For instance, ordinarily, I will more easily have love and compassion and with the folks whom I really vibe with, whether they're my relatives, family, who I feel safe with. Relatives, family, loved ones, people who may like the similar type of music as me, people who may vote like me, people who, in general, I tend to like, I vibe with. I call this the first ring is the circle of resonance. The second ring is the adversary or the troublemaker, or most commonly translated as the enemy. So you have your friends and then you have your adversaries in life. And it's not always in the form of persons, but often it is in the form of persons. And so an adversary is either one that is provoking you in some way or another, whether from the inside or the outside, or someone who wishes you harm, or someone you may wish harm to, whether intentionally or not, subconsciously or consciously, and those who cause you adversity in your life, the situations that cause you adversity in your life. So if you have adversity in your life, you already have some form of enemy, so to speak. Enemy can feel like a strong word to some people, but you don't want enemies, don't have friends. Two sides of the same coin. In a certain way, this is like Dharma physics. We're looking at the nature of things. Yes, there's some kind of philosophical ideas around it, but all of it is dependent on our inner experience. This is the beauty of something like Kundalini Yoga and a Dharma practice such as this, is that it's all needs to be backed up with an experience. And if it can't be backed up by our own inner experience, independently of what the teacher says, independently of what the teachings say, then it's not going to do much for us at the end of the day. The only things that will really kind of take us across the threshold of our life as well as the threshold of our death are the things that can be backed up by our inner experience. And that's what meditation practice, yoga practice, Kriya practice, Tantra is all about, is making it come alive inside of us. The science of it is to learn the principles, to learn the techniques, to learn some of the philosophical viewpoints. But they're not philosophies that we just automatically adhere to. They're philosophies that if they feel resonance with us, then we start to work with them to test them with our own inner experience. It's not about joining a club or a membership of some sort of religious ideas, so to speak. It's about trying to use, hopefully, what feels like common sense and gives us a certain type of actually street smarts that we can navigate in our life with, because we need this in our life. Our lives are going to have many adverse moments. We're going to have many obstacles. As much as we go through pleasures, we're going to go through heartbreaks. As much as we come together, we're going to come apart. This is the physics of life. As much as the tide comes in, the tides will go out. So we want to go into the middle stream, the center channel, where we can actually get into the reality of life and not be swung so powerfully by the polarities. This is the glory of the bodhicitta. And so the first ring is the ring of one's resonance, one's loved ones, one's friends, one's relatives, those you vibe with. The second ring is those who, in fact, you quite do not like. And the third ring is the neutrals. And this is the more difficult ring because there's no real immediate, strong, often until bodhicitta is developed, there's not a strong emotional relationship with the others. This is where it's starting to become extraordinary love, increasing one's capacity to love. So if one's love is only reserved almost exclusively for the first ring, then one's inner bliss and one's inner happiness and the force of their joy in their life is going to be quite limited. But if we can get our love to extend itself practically and realistically, and not without fluff, and it's not fluffy, it's not something one can just easily do. It's like you need to work your heart. You need to build your heart muscle, but not in this case. Yes, we also need to work our physical heart, but this is working the love heart, the real heart, the real essence of what we are and who we are, the heart that we will carry along with us at the time of our death, not the heart that is the pumping blood through our veins, which also we need. And this also, of course, will help our heart because it takes stress away. It gets us in tune with life, and now no longer is our circular system as contracted or as tense or as causing us high blood pressure with excess stress, etc., etc., etc. So there's endless benefits to the cultivation of bodhicitta. It is the central jewel with which everything else rotates around. It is not an accessory virtue, compassion. Bodhicitta is what makes everything work. And so to be able to, practically speaking, extend your love force, the love of your heart. This is not about, at first, it is not about external behavior. At first, it ultimately, of course, will result in external behavior quite naturally. But first, it's about our inner universe and the privacy of our own mind and the privacy of our own hearts, the spaces that even our besties don't have access to, that only we have access to. Because my relationship with you, regardless of which three rings, let me say this is slightly different. My happiness is totally intertwined. My genuine happiness is totally intertwined with my concern for yours, regardless of which three rings that you may dwell in relative to me. So the neutrals are the more subtle in the sense that you don't have an immediate positive or negative reaction to either of them. My circle of resonance, I have a positive reaction. These are my people. The circle of the adversaries, or the troublemakers in our lives, this is where I'm not trying to be around. And then the third are the neutrals, which is kind of like the ocean of sentience. It might as well be all others, includes animals, includes plants, includes everything actually. But we can keep it simple for the moment for persons, the neutrals. But there is a whole ocean of sentience, of beings who can feel. A sentient being is the one who can feel emotion, can feel suffering, can feel happiness, or can feel pain. And so, for any being who has the capacity to feel love, we wish them love. This is the third ring. And so, we can accidentally have more of a negative relationship with others because we're contracted in ourselves, because we don't feel good in ourselves. So the first step is we always have to feel good in ourselves before we can go to the others. But we have to remember that the essence of bodhicitta is to feel good in ourselves so that we can get to the others in a positive way. So the first step we have to do is start at a measurable number 1 and direct it towards ourselves. The measurable number 1, the first boundless attitude, is boundless love, and that boundless love is the wish of happiness and the conditions for true happiness. All of the path of yoga and the path of dharma is in the second half of this statement. Not the wish for happiness, but the conditions for real happiness. Are you with me? And so the conditions have to be cultivated over time. But the wish begins immediately. This is one's motivation. And this is at the beginning of it. In the Life Force Academy approach to Kundalini Yoga, at the very beginning of each practice, is to endeavor to arouse bodhicitta by going into these 4 immeasurables, one's true motivation. And so first, we have to feel that for ourselves. We have to acknowledge how, just in our bodies, because it's the most natural acknowledgement that we want to be happy. There's not one among us who ultimately doesn't want to be happy and doesn't want to suffer, and that's the second. The second boundless compassion is the wish to not ever suffer and the conditions to not ever suffer. Because I can spend my whole life trying to avoid the conditions externally that cause me to suffer. This relationship breaking up, this bank account dropping down, my body going through an illness, etc. And if I continue to try to avoid suffering by focusing on the external expressions of suffering, of pain, then I will perpetuate my suffering. This is the physics. This is the great kind of what seems like the paradox of life. Of course, it's not a paradox. That which you grasp at comes back to you stronger. This is the physics, Dharma physics. And so, when I can transform the inner tendencies that perpetuate my suffering in response to difficult situations, then I am starting to cultivate the conditions to never suffer. So it's very deep. So all of the path of Dharma and Yoga and Tantra, etc., is in the second part of those 2 immeasurables, the wish for happiness and the conditions to become truly happy. Second, the wish to never suffer, to be liberated from suffering, but the conditions that would actually liberate us from suffering. And then as it would be said in the Buddha's context, you would experience the Tathagarbha, the luminous nature at the center of yourself. And by starting to little by little experience the luminous brilliance at the center of us, our nucleus, by polishing the jewel, which is the diamond that is the mind, so that your real brilliance can shine through your life, and you will be the first one to experience it. Others will reflect it back to you later, but you will know what they mean in a very humble, beautiful way, in the sense, because when you experience your own brilliance and luminosity in this way, you also recognize that this luminosity is at the center of every living thing. So it's not like it's this, and some people, wow, look at him, he's so great, he's so magnetic, he's so spiritual, he's so wise. No, this is in the center of every living thing. And we're all totally unique, and our brilliance and our inner genius will come out in totally unique ways, and yet somehow we're all connected with each other. This means you. And so then, when we experience that, then the appreciation for the others starts to become quite wonderful, regardless of who they are, friend, enemy, neutral. Let's keep going. I'll unpack it a little bit further, and then we're going to do this really gorgeous meditation that I think you'll really love. So the next immeasurable, well, first, staying on the second for just a moment more, because we're, first things first, remember, we have to apply these to ourselves before we can effectively apply them to the others. Because if we're not experiencing it yet in our own bodies, we're not going to be able to authentically send it to another person. Are you with me? And so the second immeasurable of not having to suffer means we have to, as I do daily, as a practice, not as something, well, I hope I recognize it, but as something I ritualize in my life, and this is what I'm teaching you today and over the summer solstice, is in part how to do that. to recognize my suffering. And when I'm honest with myself about my suffering, it helps my life so much. Because to be honest, when we're suffering, our minds and our bodies will naturally respond with compassion. If we pass a dying animal on the road and it's thriving in pain, and we'll immediately be filled with compassion due to the pain we're feeling in our own bodies, witnessing this beautiful, sweet animal in extraordinary suffering. And so compassion is natural. But what has to be developed is extending that compassion beyond ordinary domains. From one domain into a second and into a third. Sometimes you can skip the second at first and go to the third. But we have to start at the first. In this case, we're focusing on ourselves. So when I recognize if I'm being passive-aggressive, for instance, it's hard to admit to ourselves when we're being passive-aggressive if we've not yet admitted to it very much inside, once again, the privacy of our own mind and heart. But when we do admit it to ourselves, when we're feeling anxious, when we're being passive-aggressive, when we're depressed or feel depressed, none of us are ultimately depressed. Depression can be transformed. Anxiety can be transformed. None of them can be suppressed as much as we try to. To suppress something, it will eventually come back a little bit stronger. And so this is the physics of things. So we have to welcome it somehow. We have to create a container somehow that allows us to go through all the ups and downs of life without being overcome by them. And so therefore we have to recognize our great sensitivity and tenderness. And then if I'm behaving passive-aggressive because I'm feeling irritated or angry or frustrated, as long as I stay in the stories around that, and because they did this, and I'm then I will continue to behave accordingly. It's just going to keep happening. It's not going to be conscious. I don't mean to, but it's coming from our subconscious mind. And so the way that we can transmute that, and just starting today, we can transmute that, is we can start to recognize our suffering as suffering. To feel anger is suffering when it's directed towards another person. Now naturally sometimes it will be, and it needs to be. But if it continues in that direction, the fire force in its anger form becomes destructive. There's an expression of anger that's creative, where you channel your anger for good, for the good of one's own life and the good of others. But one can't do that if they're harboring hatred towards their adversary. If one has compassion towards their adversary, but still despises the behavior of that person, one can handle that situation, whether it's a personal relationship or social activism, for instance. When done with compassion, it will become much more effective. Because when we're harboring bitterness and hatred inside of ourselves, we are going to maybe also be somewhat effective, but also further polarize the situation. And something's going to come back at us. That's the physics of it. To harbor bitterness, to harbor anger. It's different than feeling and experiencing anger, but to harbor it accidentally or intentionally, it doesn't matter, is to drink the poison you're wishing to give the other. By giving the other the poison, you drink it yourself. That's always the physics of it. So how do we find the fierce form of love that stands up for others, that stands up for what is good, is what is true, and does not need to hate the other? Here's the thing, bodhicitta, they call two wings of the great bird. The eagle, king of all the birds, king and queen, the royalty of all the most regal of all the flying creatures, with one wing still cannot fly. So bodhicitta has two wings. It has the wing that is called love, compassion, and it is the wing that is called wisdom. Love and the compassion is what's developed in the inner world. So even though I may stand against you in terms of what you are standing for in your life or what you're representing. If I believe that you are causing suffering to others, and you may feel the same about me, and so forth and so on. But what I will not do is I will not harbor animosity towards you. That is my job, to transform and to transmute. So wisdom gives you strong boundaries. If it's the adversary, you will not come into my domain if I have anything to do with it. I will fortify the domain. Wisdom gives you wisdom around how to set powerful boundaries, beautiful boundaries. Wisdom gives you so much. The wisdom of bodhicitta is the cultivation of your own enlightenment, of your own bliss, for your own life. The compassion, the other wing, is the love for the others. And so people can generate lots of magnetism, lots of shakti, lots of wisdom for their own, manifestation, and look how much they've accumulated and the da-da-da-da-da. But without the love for the others as the central thing, all of it plateaus and becomes its own kind of version of misery. So we need both, the two wings. So the second attitude is when we experience ourselves suffering, we naturally respond. Our bodies, our minds will naturally respond with compassion. Ordinarily, if we experience ourselves anxiously, we're getting more anxious because we're anxious. And we're trying so hard not to be anxious, but we're being anxious. And now I can't stop myself from being anxious, even though I'm doing all these things to try to not be anxious. The balm for that is love. We say self-love. I say self-compassion. We need to be nourished. We may need a hug. We may not have anyone to hug us, though. Maybe we do. And that if we have even one person, they give us no strings attached, warm, loving, beautiful hug, embrace. That's a beautiful blessing. But we may not have that right now. That's okay. We still have the blessing of our breath. We have the blessing of the human mind and the human existence. And we will not be here for long. We will not be here forever. But something we will be there forever. Whatever that may be is a great mystery. But what we know right now is we have the human body and we have the human mind. And to become aware of what this great instrument really is a magnificent blessing. So then even when we find ourselves suffering, and we find I'm acting passive-aggressive, instead of self-critiquing myself once again, the critique is fine to notice. This is behavior that's not only maybe causing others suffering, it's causing me suffering. That's the most important thing first. We have to take care of ourselves first so that we can be helpful to others. And to me, this is the best relationship advice. When we take responsibility for our own inner experience, our outer experience will be attuned. That doesn't mean the relationship will necessarily stay together, but we will have great clarity of whether we wish to stay in this relationship or not, to fight for it or not, and so forth and so on. And the best part about it is even if regardless if the relationship stays together or comes apart, we will continue to love this person. They will continue to be held in a nice space of our hearts, even if they're not holding us in a nice space in their hearts. We will not let that power be taken away from us. So this is an extraordinary thing, bodhicitta. So when we have compassion, the key is to recognize suffering as suffering in all its varied forms. Let this begin our meditation for that in our life, not just in this session. And the third immeasurable is boundless, immeasurable joy. So that means when you get happy, regardless, but we mean real happiness here, but happiness in general. Even my adversary, if they're with their child and they're having a nice time and their child feels happy and loved, and therefore they feel happy and loved, I'm happy. I want that to give me joy. That doesn't mean dictators, horrible dictators that bring suffering in tremendous amounts upon the earth. Also, they have children. Also they're human beings, they're sentient beings. So, if they're having some sort of mirage of happiness because they're, won the battle, took down their enemy, and puffed up with pride for destruction. This isn't real happiness, so that's not giving me any joy. That's giving me compassion. But when there's real happiness there, this is the overflowing cup. But first we have to have this for ourselves. And so when I am the practice that we bring in to strengthen the heart of joy, the mind of joy, is very simple. It is the ritual, it is the practice of consistently creating space, a real space of counting our blessings. And that means tuning our mind, orienting our mind to the great blessings that we all have. If we don't feel like we have any blessings, maybe we're not quite in tune with our mind and body. I'm not trying to say anything other than even if you have a breath still, to me, this is a blessing. If it's still alive. Of course, that's why it's called a practice. That might not feel natural. That might feel totally false at first. But it's just a practice. You're strengthening a joy muscle. You have to want to. If you want to, you can. But first you have to want to. And so then if I have even a plate of food and I have a bed to sleep in, this is a blessing. Things can always be worse. That might not feel like a blessing because we're comparing our lives to other lives and we're seeing how nice other people have things and we don't have things. And this is very, natural again. There's nothing wrong with any of that. Of course, we all want nice things. We all want to feel comfortable and safe, and we will. And bodhicitta is developing that will. And so, therefore, we have to take our mind out of the poverty mind. Poverty is real in terms of a material existence. Part of what bodhicitta brings is really this inability to tolerate others' suffering. So its essence does become, and how it is talked about often, is putting others before ourselves. But that has to be put in the right context. Has to start with ourselves so that you can put others before ourselves, because that's what's going to turn my heart inside out and take me into the great dharma of my life. I don't know what your dharma is. I can't quite even say with words exactly what mine is, but I know it. But what I know all of our dharmas have to do is with serving life, serving creativity, serving beings, adding to goodness, adding to life. And that takes an infinite variety of expressions. And so sympathetic joy means including all of my happiness, all of the things that I do have, my precious son, my family, my friends, my business, my co-workers, my everyone is when there is happiness being spread around, I'm having happiness, but I want to extend that into the others in my life that are not in the first ring, but also in the third ring of all the neutrals. How do I do that? By noticing how I suffer. I notice that also everyone else suffers, until we've become liberated from such a thing. And that becomes almost like a super, maybe not even human is the right word. In the ancient Indian culture, Shakyamuni called it Buddha nature. But in all different parts of the world, it's called as something little different. But it is the nucleus of the self. It is the love at the center of all things. And it's non-conceptual. But how can it be love if there's war? And it's non-conceptual. It has to be experienced in the inner. And so therefore also, we get to the fourth immeasurable, and that is boundless equanimity. That means, boundless equanimity means that this first three wishes, boundless love, boundless compassion, and boundless joy, are extended across all three rings. So in that sense, the fourth immeasurable is kind of the most important to be bodhicitta. That boundless impartiality is extended, means that those first three wishes extend across all three rings of friend, adversary, and neutrals. Are you with me? Try to let that drop in for a moment. We're not talking about many things. We're talking about a few things in many ways. You have 4 measurables. You have 3 rings. Bodhicitta has that which we're bringing through the 3 rings, across the 3 rings, is the 2 wings of the bird, of the wisdom for oneself and the love for the other. And it's all, as the great 14th Dalai Lama often says, if we're going to be selfish, be the wise selfish. And the wise selfish is that your concern is for the others first and foremost. Because if you were to generate actual compassion, actual bodhicitta, you will be the first to benefit. If you go and genuinely help someone from your heart without anything expected in return, which all of us know what that is if we have children or if we have family. When we're good, we don't expect anything back. We do it because we love. And that's bliss. So if one can have that same feeling like we would for like a mother and their child, then if you could have that same feeling across all 3 rings, how blissful of a human must you be? Bliss is not some fluffy thing. Bliss is a subtle force. It can't be acquired easily. No substance can give it to you in a sustained way. It is profound. It is wisdom. It is love. It has found itself as a home in your body. And so, this boundless impartiality, when it is contextualized for ourselves, means we're including all of ourself in our compassion. We're not excluding the parts of ourselves we don't like. Oh, we don't like how our body looks, or we don't like how we're like this way, or all of our insecurities. It includes all of them in love and in compassion and in joy. And slowly, but steadily, we start to experience our essential goodness and our essential brilliance. And so this is what it is. But how do we do it? How do we take this? This makes sense, doesn't it? Philosophically so. But how do we take it and make it bioactive? How do we bring it alive inside of ourselves? Well, we need time, we need practice. And this is the glory of the Kriyas of a practice like Kundalini Yoga. And this is what we're all about at Life Force Academy. And so I'm going to guide you right now through a great Kriya that I practice and have been teaching for some time and cherish myself, to help to kind of catalyze these things inside of the body and the mind. Because in order to practice such things with consistently, we'll need great vital energy, and to bring the great force of prana, shakti, chi, that is below the belly button, below the diaphragm. This great potency that we have, it's a sexual force, it's the Muladhara chakra, the feeling of needing to be safe and survive. It's the navel chakra, Manipura, that is the force of ambition and needing to penetrate in life and to be able to do something and to feel like you want to do something and to do something and to take all the desire and to put all of that in kind of this beam that allows us to actually experience what we truly want. And the 4 measurables keep our mind in tune with what we truly want. It's not a dogma. Certainly, I'm sure, all through time, as within all things, folks turn them into dogmas, but its essence is the wish for happiness and the conditions. And that's your journey to discover, what is that? What is happiness for you? Not to listen to someone else. Other people, such as myself or anyone else, may have perspectives, may understand some of the kind of beautiful Dharma teaching, and have some ability to kind of bring it into the field and let it ripple as a sound vibration and language and thought and poetry. But at the end of the day, as the Buddha says, samsara will not get rid of itself. In other words, our kind of swinging between polarities of life, grasping at pleasures, trying to avoid pain is the very thing that perpetuates suffering and causes real happiness to elude us. The real happiness is that which stands the time, regardless of the ups and downs in our lives. So we need something deeper. Relationship you've been longing for finally comes and it does make us happy for a period of time. And it can continue to make us happy if the essence of that relationship is founded in something bigger than the relationship itself. So this is the great secrets of the yogis and all the ancient peoples throughout, and also modern peoples who are in the Dharma fields all around the world. It's the golden rule in this basic way. What you do to others, what you do to yourself. You do to yourself, you do to others, is the physics. You have the eastern horizon of the first house. You have the western horizon of the seventh. The first house is the house of self. The seventh house is the house of the other. It's in the very physics of the universe. So, the Kriya practice is what helps catalyze this. So I'm going to teach you this lovely meditation. We're not going to do it for too long. You're going to take the wisdom, the compassion seal like this, where your index fingers cross, the back of your middle, back of your ring, and back of your pinkies press against each other and point towards the sky. Thumbs point away from you, index fingers point away from you. One more time. You take your index fingers and thumbs out. Cross your index fingers like so. Thumbs straight out. Backs of the middle, backs of the ring, backs of the pinky fingers press against each other. Relax your elbows down. Hold it as much as possible in front of your chest at the height of your heart center. Try to make your fingers, of your index fingers and your thumbs, point away from you. Middle ring pinkies point up towards the sky. Yeah? So what we're going to do here in just a moment is we're going to begin a segmented breathing pattern. And it's a 4-stroke inhalation, a 4-stroke suspension, a 4-stroke exhalation. Let me say that slightly different. A 4-stroke inhalation, a 4-beat suspension, a 4-stroke exhalation, a 4-beat suspension out. And then we begin again, all while holding this heart seal, the seal of the compassionate heart. And so, holding it this way, it's a segmented breathing. When we say suspension, that means you're keeping the breath in, but you're softening the mind, softening the body, softening the chest. The mantra, the sound current that is used in this meditation, is the sounds of Satnam, which is Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. 5 elements: earth, water, fire, space. Satanama A. 5 sounds. Pancha Shabad. That harmonizes the Pancha Mahabhuta, the 5 great elements, make up the mind and the body and the field of the universe. So Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Yeah. If you don't want to use a mantra, you can just count 1, 2, 3, 4. But this is how it'll be. I'll demonstrate, and when you're ready, you can join in. You take the seal, sit nice and regal and nice and tall. Then you suspend, Ta, Na, Ma, then goes. Suspend out, Ta, Na, Ma. There you go. Suspend. 2, 3, 4. Then X. X. Suspend out. 2, 3, 4. Then suspend. 2, 3, 4. Then every exhale, the Diaphragm lifts, navel in. Suspend out. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Suspend. 2, 3, 4. Suspend out. 2, 3, 4. Suspend. 2, 3, 4. Sa, ta, na, ma. Hold the body, the posture, very steady and still. Stay with it. So for about 7 more minutes, we will continue. And as we go along, the pressure you're building a magnetic field in the context of the Kriya. So pressurization does occur. As the waves start crashing or swirling or fidgeting, keep bringing yourself to the prana shakti, the breath rhythm, and the mantra, holding your body posture elegantly steady and soft. Soft of the mind, eyes closed, roll the inner gaze, where the root of the nose meets the skull bone. And while this may seem like a long time, actually it's not such a long time. So very soon it will be over. So while we're here, create a beam of your mind. Blend your mind with this rhythm. Da, na, ma, sa, da, na, ma, sa. Stay steady in the posture. Final 90 seconds. Exhale your breath completely and hold the position elegantly and perfectly still, and through your nose please inhale deeply. Suspend the breath for 20 seconds. Be perfectly still. If Mulabandha, rectum, sex organ, navel. Tuck the chin, lift your sternum, and just give the mind the mantra 0. And exhale. Relax your hands. Give a beautiful wish for your life. To feel real happiness in this lifetime. True happiness. To be liberated from suffering in this lifetime. True liberation. Whatever mystery it may be. The joy, the overflowing cup. And then bring your mind and your heart to a most precious loved one. Doesn't matter who it is, whoever appears first to your mind. And the same feeling you have for your own life, extend those 3 wishes also to them. And from the privacy of your own heart, giving a wish makes a ripple through the field of time and space. And say, may they truly, in your mind, your heart, however you say it, may they be truly happy, truly free from suffering, and may their happiness always overflow, may their prosperity always continue, regardless of anything else, impartiality. And then if you feel safe enough to, if not, to stay in that same space, find your adversary, the first that appears, and the same 3 wishes with the same energy. Practice. And then into the field of all beings, the ocean of sentience, the web of life, from our hearts into the great heart. Into the great heart. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free of suffering. May all beings feel joy. And relax, And we don't know, if that has any help to others. That's why first part is called, what we're learning now is called relative bodhicitta. Absolute bodhicitta is that it does actually benefit others, but first we have to train. But what we do know, even if our wishes, we can't say for sure if they're actually helping other people, we know who they are helping. They are helping us to to create general wishes in our hearts will make our lives better in every way. And they continue. There's no end. It's not like, okay, I developed that back in 2026 and I've been good ever since. No, it's a continuing blossoming. It's like you can't just get married and stop all courtship. This marriage is not going to be juicy. It will dry up. Courtship must always continue. Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't we want to? It's not just courtship with people, it's courtship with the entire web of life, the universe, the flowers, It's connectivity. We live in an ocean of consciousness and communication and energy and love and wisdom and emotional energy of all sorts. And let us travel it well. So that's how you do it. You make it, that feeling. Starting with the first ring, you think typically is done as you meditate, classically as your mother. And over the summer solstice, we're going to go very deep into all this. And it's going to be incredible. And it's going to be fun. They're so fun, these immersions. We're in the rare circumstance right now that we have room. This time, ordinarily, at the moments of this recording, ordinarily, our summer immersion, which we've been doing for well over a decade in Northern California, every summer is pretty much sold out by this point. We have space this year. And if you want to fly into the Bay Area of Northern California and come with us in person to Mount Madonna, depending on when you're seeing this, you may be able to. And if you have the wherewithal to do that, do that. If you have the desire and the wherewithal. If not, however, the vast majority of us will be in what we call the LFA Dharma cloud. And that's where you're going to be attending virtually. And we do virtual well. This is not a live event that we're also like, okay, it's a secondary thing. We're also streaming it. No, we put even more resources, more of our creativity and energy into the Dharma cloud stream, the virtual stream. Put it on a big screen if you can, with good speakers. Rent an Airbnb with your besties. Invite your besties over, or you do it with your lover. Having the experience with someone else, an accountability partner, is a great thing. And it will probably get you to actually do it. But however, another way you can do it, you got a device, you can find some space, it will deliver. You have some good earphones, it will take. If you can get there virtually from wherever you are, live is always best, but we make this available this year that you can attend it on demand. So if you join this experience, you have lifetime access. So you don't have to do it right away. It's an in-depth course. It's at least 25 hours in total of content. I'm just growing to not like this word, content. It's 25 hours, if not more, of goodness, of fun. We spend a lot of time in our lives doing things that unground us, that are making us feel more unsettled, more anxious. This is something substantive that is also going to make you feel amazing. It's so fun. It's some work. You're going to work out. You're going to get in shape, really. It's going to be great. But also, anyone can do it. Anyone can do this. There's modifications for everything that's too physically difficult. I'm going to be joined by the most extraordinary musicians, as a lot of you know, if you've done LFA experiences, immersions. All of our music comes from these immersions, and the summer immersion is the biggest and the best one we do every year, hands down. And I couldn't be more excited for this one. Bodhicitta, into the great heart. The joyful love force. We're bringing it alive inside of ourselves. So we're going to have, it's an incredible sound experience, musical experience, community experience. Even if you're virtual, you'll see. There's going to be, we're going to be dancing. We're going to be moving. It's not just intellectual. It's intellectual in the sense like some of today was intellectual, but it's poetic. It's inspiring. It's so creative. Even we don't ever know exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to unfold, because that's the way we roll. We prepare our minds, we prepare our container, we build a beautiful container for us to be in, both in person and virtually. But the magic that happens in the container, that will be fresh and unpredictable, because it always works out better than when you plan too tightly. And so I want to invite you to be a part of this, whether you can be there live or maybe you take it for your summer course. This is the way that you're going to stay good this summer. And you can take one module per week for like 8 weeks. What I really recommend, there's two main ways. There's many ways you could, but there's two main ways that you can take this immersion. The first way, in terms of the virtual experience I'm talking about, all of you who can make it in person, we got you. You can get the link for it here. But what I'm talking about now, and what's most important right now for me, and probably for most all of you, is the virtual stream. The two ways to take it are, number one, you take it immersion style, whether you're live or we have people in over 120 countries around the world who do LFA, Life Force Academy. And so people are in different time zones. So some people, if we're in the 5:30 beginning time on the first night, or I don't know if that's the right time, but if we start in the evening, the people in Europe, it's the middle of the night, or some other parts of the world. So you just adjust with your time zone. When they get up, that will be waiting for them there, and then move on to the next one. Or some people, this is what they're doing for those 4.5 days, so they don't care about the time zone, and they want to be there live, and so they have a cool night. Sometimes a 2 a.m. experience is cool, but you got to kind of set up your life like that for super mystical in the middle of the night. Plus everybody else is sleeping, probably. And so, but if you don't have the wherewithal to do that, don't worry about it. You just do it on demand, either live or on demand on your schedule. But the point is you're doing it immersion style. That's the first way to do it. And I think probably the most potent way to do it. It's because you get, when you're in the field and then you stay in that field without going too much into the rest of your life. Maybe you're going to dinner, maybe you're, going to a little party afterwards or something. But the main thing you're doing is this, and it builds and builds and builds, and it's exponentially transformational in that way. And at first you think, oh, it's so long, is it gonna be hard? I don't want to do it. But then you hit by like Friday, Saturday, it's like, I wish this would never end. Try. We stand by our stuff. So if, for whatever reason, this doesn't meet your expectation virtually, this wasn't actually for me anyways, we'll give a money back guarantee on that. We don't always do that for our immersions, but this time we are. And we stand by that because that rarely ever happens. You have a limited amount of time to let us know, but we do guarantee our stuff. Because we're just trying to make it as possible for you to do this as we can. So that if you want to pull the lever and say, I'm in, that you have the ability to do so. We can't do everything, but we can do as much as we can. And so there's also a payment plan. The regular price for the experience, to have it, lifetime access, is $595. But there's also a payment plan. And for all of you who have been a part of this masterclass, and thank you so much for being here and for making time in your life where all our moments are important to hang out with us and to dive into this Dharma space. For all of you who have done this masterclass with us, we have a really great discount. It's on sale for you right now if you go ahead and jump in for only $295. So that's like it's $300 off. And for you, the payment plan, if that makes it possible for you to do it, that's what works. 3 payments of $108. That's it. And you get immediate access right away. So we use the honor code in that way. We're going to say, do it. And let us deliver and give it a try. If you've done an immersion, LFA immersion with us, you already know. I'm going to be joined by Simrit. If you don't know Simrit, you're in for a real treat. She is a great, great artist. Many of you know her well, or you've heard her voice in Life Force Academy, or you're a fan of her. She's also, in addition, of course, to really being the resident artist for the last 20 years of Life Force Academy. 20 plus years. She's a renowned touring artist, and she's loved all over the world, and we're going to have her live in person with her Roots band, and it's going to be a great vibe. So every afternoon session is live music. The morning sessions of each day is, you got me, and you got our like this today. But I'll be joined, of course, by a great group of people attending. And then the afternoons, the full band is with us, and we go on a journey. The first half of the day is more where we're kind of building that kind of, we're practicing, we're going deep, we're meditating, but it's also a little more on the side of building that, all of this kind of framework. You're building the view and the vision that allows you to run your prana through inside. So half of it is the science, and half of it is the art. It's not more science than art. It's just as much art as science. It must be. Otherwise it gets too dry. Because we're not dealing with just materialism. We're dealing with all the facets and the subtle and super subtle nature of life. And so the first half of the day tends to be little more on the science and the building that container, and gives you the kind of structure, builds the banks that then the river of your prana flow through. And then the second half of the day, when I have the musicians on the stage with me, it's still, of course, the science, but it tips more towards, we're going on an inner journey, much less of a head thing, much more of a body and heart thing, but all of it is all of it. So, but just to give you a little taste, the first opening night, the whole band, it will be with me, always an incredible experience. One of the evenings, we start on the first evening. It's an experience with live music that gets the spaceship up into orbit. Then we have the session number 2 on day 2 in the morning, session number 3 in the afternoon of day 2. All the dates are here. You can see them in a moment. And in the first evening, it's rest evening, open free evening. Then is the only open free evening, because we're going kind of like full in it on these, and you'll see why. So then session number 4 is on the morning of day 3, and then session number 5 on the afternoon of day 3, and then the evening of day 3, we're going to have a full concert experience with Simrit. And this is going to be much more of, some people will probably be a little dancing and stuff, but this is going to be a listening experience, a meditative experience, a vibey experience, of transport you into Blissfield experience of the classic, Simrit songs. And really, I think for her recordings are fantastic, but the live experience of her is, to me, like the juice. And so they'll be going on the evening of day 3. Again, if you can't be there live, all of this is for you when you join the courses on demand. And then on day 4, on the morning, we have the session, the afternoon, the session, and the final evening is Simra and the Roots Band. And this is going to be, a different style. They have a couple different modes they go into, and this is the mode where we are going to be up, we are going to be celebratory, we're going to be moving, we're going to have an incredible musical experience. You'll see. It's so good. So fun. I'm getting like giggly and just thinking about, okay, this is about to happen again. And then Sunday is the final session, session number 8, in the final morning, and that is, and once again, joined with these artists in the band, and we're going to have our grand finale experience, and you will have completed the course on Bodhicitta from the Life Force Academy into the Great Heart. So I want to personally invite you. It's super easy to check out. Just takes a minute. You don't have to be tech savvy. We have a great team. If you need any support at all, they will help out. And you just shoot us an email. You can respond to any email that we've sent you. We get back to you within 24 hours, business days, sometimes often much quicker, but at least that. And we love you. We're hoping to have you around and join this experience with us. All the info's here, the button's here. I just want to leave you with one final thing. I wanted to read something, very short thing from the great teacher Jigme Lingpa on all of this, to seal and to wrap this in a bow of the four immeasurables and the four boundless attitudes. He's giving commentary on, and he says, love means wishing for the happiness of others, like a loving mother cherishing her child. One's body, wealth, and virtue all amassed, one gives for the other's benefits. It's poetry, just like you would, just like a mother, while also training to endure the harm they may inflict, just like we all know for parents. You love regardless, but as you also know, as humans, and in this case parents, you need, for that person's benefit and for our own, it needs wisdom, boundary. So love, and then compassion, Jigme Lingpa says, is a powerful state of mind, an inability to tolerate the fact that others suffer. Beings are entrapped in the realm of sorrow and its cause, and seeing this brings tears to one's eyes. Joy is to delight in others' pleasures and success. It is to cultivate the wish that all have happiness. It's to cultivate the wish. Say, I'm not like that. I'm not like that either, until I build the muscle of it. And then I realize I am like that, and I always were like that. But you got to polish the jewel, open the channel, and then exercise the muscle. So joy is to delight in the other's pleasures and success, and is to cultivate the wish that all have happiness. It is a joy one feels when they achieve it for themselves, and is the wish that they should never be deprived of it. And finally, impartiality, equanimity, is freedom from attachment and hostility. Attached to something we want, and hostile to that which we don't. Impartiality is freedom from attachment and hostility, when sides and factions are all seen as equal, when enemy and friend and neither are all treated with an even-handed kindness. We practice these four attitudes, remembering that all is all, the nucleus of us all is this true essence. So my friends, I invite you to the great summer solstice immersion of 2026, Bodhicitta, into the great heart. It's going to be amazing. And I just want to, if you're feeling the call, I want to just encourage you to jump and to do this thing. I am very confident you'll be very happy with your decision. And you own it, then you have it. And it's not like one of these things, I did that once. These are things that you can revisit again and again, and it'll be like a great ally and resource for your life when you need it. When you're going through a hard time, especially, you have this there for you, and you can get into it. And if you do, even just like one session, I'm not saying you have to go through 25 hours, but to take the course first, definitely. You will love it, I think, but you see yourself. So thank you, my dear friends. Thank you for being here. I'm looking forward to this immersion. If whatever reason you can't do it or don't want to do it, please do keep in touch. JaiDave108 on Instagram, Life Force Academy. Check us out. Check out our membership. If you don't have the financial wherewithal, it's free to do our membership for 2 weeks. And the Life Force Academy members portal is cool. I'm teaching every week live classes, and here, Kundalini yoga classes. We have a library of practices for you. You just push play, and it will take you through it. Some of them short, some of them longer, something for everyone. Libraries of great classes over the years. So more than you can get to in our membership portal. And you'll be part of a great, beautiful community of people of all walks of life, all different types of people, religion, secular, everyone, It's an open space. And I just want to invite you. It's a great discount. If you jump in now, it's only $295, and normally $595. And And then check out the bonus down there. Take a look at it. I think you will enjoy. Okay, my friends, all love to you, all blessings to you and your loved ones, and to all of the peoples of the world, particularly the ones who are enduring great suffering and hardships. May they find some peace and happiness, and may our lives thrive, and may all lives thrive, and may as long as time remains, as long as space endures, may we too, continue to bring happiness and joy throughout the world, and all the little bits and creativities. Satnam. But what we can do in several days is we can create a substantive momentum for ourselves. We can really plug into the source of our happiness and confidence and creativity, and we can gain good perspective on our lives to take our baby steps.
Kundalini has really helped me cultivate the energy to stay focused and present, and to help move blockages.
Doing it online is kind of almost doing it in present. It's like really, you get the same exactly benefits.
LFA finds a way of making you feel like family through the internet. And that led me to meet people that I now travel with, that I celebrate with.
My first online session, the shift in my thinking, in my attitude, the increased happiness, it's like nothing else that I've ever done online. Nothing else.
Just the general teachings of Jaidev and his humor, his love, his kindness, his wisdom, his insight, like all of it is just such an incredible blend.
If we can create a little bit of time to not only do good exercises, center our life force, but to also arouse our wish for real happiness in the conditions of happiness, which means that I'm wishing for you to have real happiness in the conditions of happiness. Everybody wants happiness, so all it's really promoting is happiness through happiness training.